Good morning, Saturday moaners. Good morning, and welcome. How are you all? It's Saturday. I have my it keeps hitting us, the loss of one of our dogs. We've lived without Chi-Chi now for a week, and it's impossible. If any of you in the members area were with us last night for the No Name Sunday show, curiously on a Friday last night, well, really principally due to all the grief and all of the upset and disturbance going on here, you'll have also felt the absence of our cockapoo Chi-Chi. So yeah, it's just sad. So I'm in here. We've shifted the positioning round. Look, there's me and Nads on our wedding day on top of the piano. God almighty. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Saturday news, or some of the Saturday news. I mean, a lot of the news in the papers is just published in order to anesthetize our brains and make sure we challenge and question nothing. Does anyone else, before we get going, does anyone else begin to feel like absolutely everything, and this is, I'm being genuinely heartfelt when I say this, does anyone else begin to, or started to question the role of everything in our lives, from the enslavement of being told to work for other people and make money for all of them, to the constant sort of attempt by the media to not tell us the truth, to the drip effect of mindless television so that we don't challenge, to social media that just keeps us scrolling, right down to things like let's have a Sunday off. So we don't do anything with the little bit of time that we've got to ourselves. Or, do you remember the phrase back in the day, don't ever talk about religion or politics? Why? In case we fucking realize you're all screwing us to the floor. Oh, it's just like, no, it's all good here, fun times forever. Do you get me? It's like absolutely everything feels like it's been constructed to anesthetize and distract. My God, MeTube, I wish I could be you. I still find more good in the world than bad. I don't, plain and simple. I see everything as a ruse, is a sort of a form of enslavement, deceit, control, manipulation. And it's hard to unsee it. And I wish I could have MeTube's X-ray vision to be able to see the good beyond the bad, because I just see the awful bad people. Bread and circus, someone says. I like that. Kimberly M. Jones. What does that mean? Bread and circus. I like it, but I don't really know what it means. I talk about both religion and politics. Yeah, I don't believe in anything, says Ray Carew. What I enjoy doing, I don't believe in anything now. Farida, my husband is listening and has declared his love for you, and I declare it back, Farida. Give him a great big hug and a kiss. I need my dips in the North Sea more than ever these days, says Sarah Fox. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, I mean, if you should have the right to be able to just live off the grid. Understandably, the gamble with that is if you live off the grid, you can't indulge in the things that the system does fund. And you're right, Michu. One has to acknowledge we live in a much more cosseted and protected environment in this country than virtually anywhere else in the world, to be brutally honest. But anyway, so what are we talking about today? We're going to be talking a little bit more, well, not a little bit more, a lot more about something that the newspapers aren't talking about really that much, but they are. They kind of don't want it to be a headline, but they do. It's a kind of, we have to talk about it, but we don't want to. This is the Maccabi Tel Aviv football fans. I lost my shit yesterday. I'm still losing my shit about this. I'm flabbergasted at how so many journalists, people, radio presenters, friends, people who aren't getting that this has got nothing to do with, and this is what seems to be being promoted everywhere and telegraphed. They mustn't come to this country because we can't protect them. Can everyone just take a chill pill, myself included, and just listen to me? The reason the Tel Aviv Maccabi football fans are not wanted here is because they're an incredibly provocative fan base. They are violent, they're aggressive, they attacked someone in Athens, they caused disruption in Amsterdam, and yes, of course, the Zionist right-wing leaning media will have you think that it was all caused by Muslims in Amsterdam. Football hooliganism ends up happening with two lots of people. The provocations come from one side, and they came from massively the Tel Aviv Maccabi fans. It's as if everyone who's even into football is pretending that this team from Tel Aviv isn't notorious for their sort of football hooliganism. So, yeah, as you can see, I've got a grip on this now. It's just, but people are ringing in going, I think it's outrageous that we, it's anti-Semitic. It proves that we're anti-Semitic, that we can't protect the Tel Aviv Maccabi. Hang on a minute. The Tel Aviv Maccabi fans, as proven, as we will talk about in a minute, that Tommy Robinson is at their helm wearing their T-shirt going, see you on November the 6th for the match. What does that mean? Wink, wink, nod, nod. At what point will Starmer go, hang on a minute, I'm in agreement with fucking Tommy Robinson? So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. It just, is anyone else staggered and surprised? Not why it's happening, but those people, I'm not at all surprised by Reform. I'm not at all surprised by Tommy Robinson. I'm not surprised by Israel. I'm not surprised by the Maccabi fans. I'm not surprised by the Zionist group. I am surprised by any journalist or commentator, or even I suppose it's this, I keep thinking there's a scintilla of hope that in the Labour Party there's an ounce of integrity, analysis, understanding. So there was I can't remember who posted it yesterday. There was a great meme yesterday. Seeing as we're on the topic, we'll stick with it for a minute. There was a meme going around yesterday. Okay, well, let the Tel Aviv Maccabi fans come. Can you guarantee the safety of the Muslim community in the Midlands if they do come? And the other reason it is a political thing, because there are members of the Maccabi football hooligan fan group who are also active and former members of the IDF. So forgive us all for thinking that if the football fans of a football club that is in and of itself, this group of fans entirely provocative and spews hate speak and has representatives of the army that's committed a genocide, I can see what's going to happen here. And I said it on my reel on Instagram too. The government, I really hope this isn't what is happening, but I think this is what's happening. The government is going to allow them to come, and in a bear trap situation, of course, there will be protests. Of course, people will protest their right to come, not because they're Jewish, not because they're anti-Semitic, but because they represent the worst violent hate speech end of the Israeli aggression and genocide in Gaza and the West Bank. Why? That's not a complicated thought. Luo's Lamb 8398. I've watched many of Tommy Robinson's speeches, and I've noticed he has to hold himself up sometimes with the sheer fury in him with a flagpole. There's not much nuance in what I hear from Tommy Robinson. Thank you so much, darling. Oh, wow, look at that. It's coming in a cup that says angel face.
It's an accident.
You never know, because the other mug we've got says bell end. So we're going to be talking about the Israeli football fans being allowed, not being allowed. Me too, at its simplest. Thank you. A group that has a reputation. Why is this? And just that simple sentence there. A reputation for hooliganism. That should be enough. That should be enough. Glasgow Rangers had a ban put on them traveling years ago. Other football clubs, there's one from Poland, had a ban put on them due to the violence they encourage. Our government, Keir Starmer, immediately politicized this in the way that Shabana Mahmood immediately politicized all of the peace marches and connected them to the whack job, nut job, wanted rapist who went rogue in Manchester. It was an anti-Semitic attack, totally disconnected to peace protesters protesting a genocide. The connection is so fucking dangerous and spurious and manipulative. And Starmer just did it like that. He didn't even think about it. Now, one of two things. Either he's fucking stupid, which I think he is. I think he's really fucking stupid. But there's also malevolence. Please go and check out, Nadia encouraged me to watch this. It was great. Owen Jones interviewing the author of a book called Fraud. If you want to begin to understand just how considered and how tessellated and complicated Starmer's realm is in terms of its deceit, its control, its punishment of anyone who's critical of Israel. Please check out Owen Jones. It's a 50-minute. If you're cleaning something, if you're doing something. I was in the car for quite a while yesterday and listened to it. It's really good. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about, bless you, Abby Reed, if you're in the room. You were mentioning on the Sunday show last night, Prince Andrew, fired or resigned. It was an important distinction for Nad. She wanted to know, was he fired or did he resign? Well, it's like I said, they're never going to say he was fired. It's a little bit of both. So we're going to be talking about that, obviously tied up with the continuing evolution of the Epstein files, his torrid interview with what's her face, Emily Maitlis. Do you remember? That was 4 or 5 years ago now. It's just been torrid. And so he's kind of finally stepped down. He's relinquishing his Duke of York, the grand old Duke of York. He had 10,000 men. He took them up. Well, he had 10,000 masseuses. He took them all to the top of the hill, and then he lost everything. But that also means that Fergie is no longer a lady. And just on that, I'm not a Fergie fan. But I do think there's a good old heavy dosage of right old sexism there always, isn't there? It's like Fergie made Andrew do everything, just like Meghan always makes Harry do everything. You know, let's get off that little bandwagon too. Hutchie boy, just quickly, I don't want to lose your quote. Sometimes Israeli football fans were not allowed to travel en masse to Italy v Israel. Well, well, everyone isn't fucking losing their shit and throwing everything out of the pram about that. There's precedent for this. And the fact that our government has just literally fallen into the trap of the Zio-Israeli propaganda machine is shocking. But I do want to just give a shout out. If anyone hasn't, I just want to give a shout out to Migration Films. Please go and follow him on Instagram. He's a great guy. He's a lovely chap. I met him for the first time, though. We followed each other on social media for a long time. And we share posts and He's beavering away, constantly fighting for the Palestinian cause. But he last night invited me to collaborate on some real nifty digging around journalism that he's engaged in, because look what he found. I love this. Please everyone screenshot this and send it to people. Here's an image. Hey, Keir, is that you? For those of you listening, admittedly it's an old image because it was taken quite a while ago. I think 2014 or something like that. It's younger Keir Starmer standing in front of a sort of sign, a demo sign that says "Kick Israeli Racism Out of FIFA." And as Migration Films has put underneath, big U-turn. What do they have on you? Thank you, Ray Crew. Isn't that brilliant? Please screenshot that now and share it. So where's your consistency? Change, boy. When you say change, did you mean you change every single value or ideal or moral that you have? We promise you change. You've certainly changed the Labour Party. I read a really interesting article the other day. Oh, my God. I think it was by George Monbiot. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly. And it was really interesting. I won't go into the details of it, but he wrote a really interesting article for anyone who's interested in politics. And he said this: if the Labour Party, the origin, the birthplace, the birth pool, the origin of the Labour Party way back in the early 20th century, fighting for workers' rights, strikes, all this kind of stuff. If the Labour Party, as it was born, in the conditions in which it came about and was born, and it's striving for the working class and the workers of the country and rights and equality and socialism and all that, if that was happening now, Labour's own laws and rules would prevent the Labour Party from coming into existence. Check it out, George Monbiot, Monbiot, and put him, George Monbiot, Guardian, Starmer, it will come up. He's created a system, or he's helped facilitate a system, and it's not just his government. I mean, countless governments over time. But he's like, quite literally, continuing the football analogy, he's kicked it to the back of the net, Starmer boy, hasn't he? Let's kick it to the back of the net. The fact that if there was ever to be a Labour Party now, they wouldn't be able to emerge. They wouldn't be able to sustain themselves. And if you think about it, how your party, the, Sultana Corbyn vehicle, which feels like it's kind of already one of the wheels has come off it. I hope it pulls it back together a bit. if you think that one of their kind of big core kind of issues that's brought them together was, the fighting against the genocide and fighting for Palestine. And this government's completely kind of, tried to skew that away. But anyway, some potentially interesting news about that on Palestine Action. Palestine Action have won an appeal regarding their prescription, or for the appeal to be heard. So we're going to talk about that, Prince Andrew and all of this kind of stuff. So let's jump in, shall we? Watch Zach Polanski's newsagent's interview from yesterday. Finally, a British politician talking truth on Israel. Mel, I mean, I have to say, I think a huge shout out has to be given to Zach Polanski, who is the leader of the Green Party. The feeling that he was being marginalized, kind of ostracized, ignored by the mainstream media was real. And he's done a very good job, I think, of utilizing social media platforms, just putting himself out there repeatedly, and more now, and especially as recent polls demonstrate that the Greens are giving Labour a run for their money. The polls don't really show where your party are, though I guess they sit in the independent section. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the headlines today, shall we? Here we go. The reason I want to, this was a carousel reel that speaks to the Tel Aviv Maccabi fans. And this was Middle East Eye, incredibly reputable, reliable, non-mainstream media resource. They do obviously a lot of their journalism focuses on the Middle East, but it doesn't give us that kind of jaundiced, skewed version that we get over here. It's always good to look at them. I would recommend going to them, going to Al Jazeera English. The Guardian is good. It's not without its issues in the past, and it does invite some dubious people to write for them, but that's fine. The Independent is quite good too, though of course they're quite hard to find online. But anyway, I just wanted to show you this. This was Middle East Eye posted this yesterday. Why fans with record of violent rampages were really banned. And it just goes into a little bit of detail here that gets ignored by the mainstream media. And I just want to read it out to you. So for those of you listening on podcasts, you'll get this too. Israeli football team Maccabi Tel Aviv are notorious for stoking violence and disruption in European cities. Now they've been banned from attending the club's Europa match at Aston Villa in Birmingham. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has condemned this as the wrong decision, as we know, criticising West Midland police and saying we will not tolerate anti-Semitism on our streets. But what's the truth about this? Amsterdam recently banned Maccabi Tel Aviv from the Dutch capital after the club's fans caused mayhem, rampaging through the capital. And that was last November. Israeli ministers claim the club's fans were subject to attacks, but a large group of Maccabi supporters were filmed arming themselves with sticks, pipes, and rocks and provoking clashes with Dutch youths. And this is the point that I really want to make. As Nadia really neatly reminded us yesterday, there's a moment at the end of the Louis Theroux Settlers documentary where Daniela Weiss, the kind of Margaret Thatcher of Settlers, she pushed Louis Theroux and said, I was kind of wishing you'd push me back, because the whole rationale of the Israeli occupation, the whole Israeli modus operandus is provoke, and then if anyone responds, you define them as terrorists, you hit them back 20,000 million times harder, or you always put the blame on someone else, and you always hide in doing that behind the accusation of anti-Semitism, Holocaust deniers, never forget, and all that. And that is the simple, and it's a narcissistic trope. It's not a Jewish trope. It's a narcissistic trope. I hit you, but you made me hit you. Or if I hit you and you hit me back, you hitting me back is much worse. And that's what these fans did in Amsterdam, regardless of how much the press want to make out it was a concerted, considered, and an orchestrated pogrom of anti-Semitism. No. The fans went, they provoked, they instilled violence, they encouraged violence, and a response happened, which itself, no violence should justify violence. But don't be surprised if when you provoke, it comes back at you. Maccabi supporters were filmed chanting. We showed the clips yesterday. Please check out yesterday's Coffee Moaning. Chanting racist songs, including "Fuck the Arabs," "Why is school out in Gaza because there are no children left there." They were also seen ripping up Palestinian flags. They were also chanting, that they wanted to rape the women. It's just horrendous. And then in Athens, in March 2024, Maccabi fans brutally beat a man who was carrying a Palestinian flag. ahead of their team's match against Greek from Olympiacos and lit flares in the city centre. In 2023 in Cyprus, Maccabi supporters were arrested for possession of flares and smoke bombs. Others engaged in fights with local residents. West Midlands Police said they had classified the match as high risk based on current intelligence and previous incidents, including violent clashes and hate crime offences that occurred during the match in Amsterdam. Sheila Fogarty, Rachel Johnson, Nick Ferrari, all these LBC Burks, jaundiced, genocide deniers, Zionist Israeli supporters, they have all refused to acknowledge. I was texting furiously yesterday saying, why are you not in your discussion acknowledging fully the threat from the Maccabi fans rather than the so-called imagined threat to Jewish people or Jewish football fans? This isn't what this is about. This is not what this is about. This is about stopping violent, provocative, unreliable, hostile fans coming. Now, of course, you get lots of people, and we're going to look at some of the headlines in a minute, saying, oh, but not all of the fans are like that. No, not all of the fans are like that. And not all of the Glasgow Rangers fans were violent. And not all Millwall fans are violent. But if there's that really nasty element in a fan base, all the fans need to be punished, because then the fans need to work it out. They need to go back to their country or their city of origin and have a real kind of long search of the soul and go, well, maybe we should stop doing that. And maybe we can see the football. Because if the football is what it's all about, we shouldn't need to be violent. Hutchie boy. The MSM, mainstream media, for over 24 hours were broadcasting that the Maccabi fans were being attacked by Dutch fans using a journalist video that clearly showed the opposite. Absolutely. It's just insanity. It was so jaundiced, that coverage. Go back on my Instagram, Mark_Adderley. You'll see I responded the night it was kicking off. It was on the radio. I just couldn't believe it. Dawny, hi Dawny, sweetheart. If an English team caused the mayhem abroad, they would be banned. Absolutely, without question. Why is it different for a team coming here that have been banned elsewhere? There's proof of why readily. Exactly. Now, you know, there's a different discussion and debate to be had about the permission or not of Israeli football clubs being allowed to play. Is that collective cultural punishment? You know, there's a whole debate going on in the film industry at the moment where certain film studios are not signing up to this boycott on, you know, Israeli firms or film companies that can in any way be connected to the genocide, which I think is reasonable. It's not about not working with the Israeli people, but if your company, your organization, your group can be linked to the oppression and the, you know, the pursuit of the genocide, then I think, you know, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. It's quite reasonable. So going through the papers today, Home Office was told last week that Maccabi Tel Aviv fans could face a ban for the Aston Villa match, police say. So there's a little bit of, in the corridors of power in government, a sort of a bit of a argument, a bit of a issue, a sort of, you know, by all accounts, Shabana Mahmoud, you know, that wonderfully, she seems out of her depth, sixth former. She looks like a sixth former put in charge of a department. And she's she conflated the awfulness of the Manchester synagogue attack, and she essentially laid it at the feet of cumulative pro-Palestinian, anti-genocide, pro-peace marches. She literally suggested that the cumulative effect of Jewish people, Christians, religious people, non-religious people, all marching to stop a live stream genocide that we've never had before. We've never had anything like that. Humanity has never had a live streamed genocide like this before, especially a live streamed one that we're actively involved in supporting, as is our big sort of buddy, the GIMP owner, America. So the Home Office was told this. So this is kind of kicking in. Shabana, the Telegraph homing in on this. Shabana Mahmoud knew that Israeli football fans faced ban. Home Secretary was informed about possible move at meeting with police chiefs last week, sources tell the Telegraph. We all know what's going on, says Sarah Jane Greer. It's infuriating. I don't know what to do with my rage with all this. Just let it out here, sweetie, because don't fall into this. It's a bear trap. It's a bit, or as Admiral Akbar said in Star Wars, it's a trap. Yeah. Birmingham's, okay, here we go. So Telegraph, Birmingham's Jews fear to be seen in city that has become a hotbed of sectarianism. Rabbi admits he avoids center of town, while others claim some areas are like 1933 Germany rather than 2025 Britain. The problem with all of this is and this is not to say that that rabbi himself isn't feeling what he's feeling. But here's what's happening in the mainstream media. By promoting and putting out constant stories of not feeling safe, not feeling this, not feeling that, it creates a feeling of not feeling safe. This kind of social commentary news stories, yes, exactly, says Telegraph's one rabbi source. I'd love the Telegraph to ask all of the Jewish people on the peace marches whether they feel the same, because it's just not, you can't claim this. You can't run a headline. So these headlines that you see pop up create a climate for the uninformed, the uneducated, those who haven't got time, not just uneducated, but those who haven't got time to dig into it in too much detail. They go, oh God, so it's fucking awful to be Jewish at the moment, isn't it? Because that's all you see in the papers. But what's it based on? It's based on a rabbi who doesn't feel he can go into the center of town. And I would argue, and this isn't right, anti-Semitism exists, Islamophobia exists. Though, with all due fucking respect, if you go into the world, into our media at the moment, and you listen to our government, Islamophobia isn't even a thing. Isn't even a thing. It's not. They're not even. Starmer's not even attempting to balance out his fears with, you know, often the thing of, well, anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. It's always a kind of secondary. He's not even doing that. I think it might be telling, though. Does anyone else think this? It might be telling. You know, Starmer and the number 10 Downing Street yesterday put out a press release saying this is moving at pace. We're moving at pace to resolve this. And I just would like to think that maybe the reason it's stalled, maybe Birmingham police are saying, hang on a minute, don't tell us what to do. Could it be that Starmer himself has gone, oh, hang on a minute, Tommy Robinson is behind wanting the Maccabi fans to come? Has he had a connective thought in his own head behind those absolutely expressionless, totally absent eyes of his? Oh my God, Tommy Robinson. If Tommy Robinson is wearing a Maccabi t-shirt, oh, that means I'm supporting Tommy Robinson. Oh no, I've got myself into a right deep doo-doo. Matthew, a football ban for Jewish fans is a disgrace that shames Britain. A football ban for violent, pro-genocide hooligans. That's a different way of putting it. A football ban for a fan base that has, yes, Jewish fans. So yes, all of the fans of a football club are being punished, not because they're Jewish, but because there is an element within their fan base that promotes and celebrates the killing of innocent people, the rape, the murder, the death, and then generally goes around whatever city they visit and destroys buildings. So that headline, can do one. There's our sixth former, way out of her league. Shabana Mahmoud was told of Maccabi Tel Aviv ban plans a week ago. Hamas victim likens police decision to a sign saying no Jews allowed. I mean, of course, you know, I mean, I'm not going to make light of a former hostage who's commenting on this. She's a Maccabi fan, but it's not because of Jew. It's not because you're Jewish. Sorry. Journalist who should know better, Matthew Syed, we must take a stand against bigotry and get Maccabi fans into Villa Park. All right, Matthew, are you going to stand at the gate? And if you are in any way seen to be Palestinian supporting or not what they like, are you going to protect all of the Muslims in the local community? Are you going to make sure the violence doesn't happen? Have you not acknowledged that they are quite a severely, reputationally dubious group of fans? Outrage as nationalist Tommy Robinson urges fans to support Maccabi Tel Aviv over English team Aston Villa. So we've got to a position now where even in footballing terms, Tommy Robinson is saying support the Israeli team, not Aston Villa. I mean, even Keir Starmer in his really fucked up Arsenal fan head must be like, oh shit. Surely. As if to prove a point, there he is. Look at him in his Israel Maccabi kit. It's a bit disappointing to see the word Canada there, isn't it? There's Tommy Robinson's tweet. Who's coming to support Maccabi? Tel Aviv at Villa Park on November the 6th. Those 3 question marks tell you everything you need to know about what could kick off on November the 6th at Villa Park. This one post could possibly be enough for the police to need to stop the fans arriving. No? Has Starmer looked at this? Have his aides said, shit, Starmer, you're on the same page as Tommy Robinson, mate. Oh, no, let me get out of my gimp suit. Just give me a second. I've just got off the phone to Donald. I mean, how is he squaring this? And I can only hope that perhaps this is part of the discussions that are happening. UK Fact Check Politics account, this British patriot is going against a British football club to support a foreign one. I mean, what does Tommy really understand national? I mean, the part of all of this that is so flabbergasting is that he and those like Tommy Robinson who support Israel don't really have a proper understanding of what nationalism is even. They're not even very good nationalists, which is weird, isn't it? Because that's what he's about. He can't even engage in nationalism properly. I mean, and I hate to just call someone stupid, because he can't be that stupid. He wouldn't have had so much purchase. But is it me? I mean, of course, there's the whole issue of him being supported and financed and funded and all that kind of stuff. But how does that flow? Okay, so for I know there's a couple here, any Tommy Robinson fans who think I know we get comments every day saying you haven't listened to everything and you don't understand what he's saying, and actually he's just a lovely boy, really. What part of this supporting the Tel Aviv Maccabi fans above Aston Villa? How can you, even when I was at my most simplistic Tottenham fan, and you're Liverpool and I don't like you, how do you square that with the nationalism that's so important to him? I'm a nationalist. Israel. I don't get it. Can someone just please explain it apart from the money side of it? I get it. He's paid, he's funded, he's is it just that? Is it just that? Does anyone say to him at the top, they're sort of marching along, hey, get everyone out, no migrants, oh, no one, everyone's British, we love the British. And then someone goes, Tommy, why are you carrying an Israeli flag? Why are you carrying an Israeli flag? Is that someone at the door? Oh, I just heard the doorbell. It's weird, isn't it? His hate all started when his ex left him for a Muslim in Luton. Weird seeing Israeli flags. Well, and because you don't hear anything. Sorry. Weird. Someone's just said weird seeing Israeli flags at a fascist. Well, it has to stop being weird because it tells you everything you need to know. The Israeli regime, not all Israelis, not Jewish people, the Israeli regime is a fascist apartheid regime. It's as simple as that. There can't be shared interests or shared ideology unless you share in fundamental ideas of racism, fascism, extremism, white supremacism, And there will come a day when and if this unholy alliance, this unedifying, what's it called when you this matrimony, this kind of fusing together of these two ideas, Tommy Robinson and Netanyahu lubing each other up. There will come a point where the Tommy Robinson side of that will then turn on the Jewish side of it for Jewishness, and it will be then anti-Semitic. There is only one reason. There's no other. We don't have to prettify. We don't have to be PC. We don't have to worry about indulging in so-called anti-Semitic tropes. No, the truth of the matter here is, and again, I stress, not all Israelis and absolutely nothing to do with Jewish people. The Israeli regime is a fascist, far-right, white supremacist, colonialist, imperialist, apartheid-supporting regime. It has not a single redeeming feature. Not a single redeeming feature. And that would make sense of why Tommy Robinson's nationalism involves the Israeli flag. Weird. It's also weird, isn't it? There you go. There's the last image of the man himself. Head along. Anyone going to go along on November the 6th? Anyone going to go along to Villa Park? Yay! And in a weird way, what Tommy Robinson's doing there and what the Maccabi fans will be doing already online and everywhere else is provoking and making sure there is a response from the anti-fascist groups in the UK. And then, of course, the government, and that's where Starmer and Shabana Mahmood are so fucking sixth form stupid. Thank you so much, Rossi2312. That's very kind of you. They're so stupid. They're so stupid. There's a spectacular... well, it's an insult to students. I do apologize when I say student politics. It was the only reason I use that is Keir Starmer would use that term to shut up the leader of the Scottish Nationalist Party. It's an infantile political understanding of things, and Starmer and Shabana Mahmood have literally fanned the flames yet again of inevitable hostility. And as you rightly say, Michib, of course the Israeli fans, the Maccabi fans, will be booed, and what will happen? They'll be called anti-Semitic, all of the fans that boo them. But no one is standing opposite the Maccabi fans saying you're Islamophobic. You call for the death to all Arabs. Why is that not given any airtime? It's infuriating. This absolute clear imbalance between being outraged at any whiff of what could be called anti-Semitism, even when it isn't, but not even acknowledging barefaced, obvious Islamophobia. They're fucked. It's because they're all so fucking racist in their hearts, they can't even see it. The only thing about Tommy Robinson is he knows he's a racist, and he probably privately, he won't say it publicly, he'll say he's a racist to his friends. But Starmer doesn't, in no way would consider himself to be a racist, but he's absolutely one of our most racist leaders. He's another puppet of the state. Ugh. Infuriating. Let me just play you this. This is Ben Jamal, who organizes the marches, but this is him talking about the Maccabi fans.
May have commented on what has happened in Gaza. It remains the case, it remains a political reality that the UK is a friend to Israel in a way that it is not with Russia.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that rather emphasizes my point, which is an absolute inconsistency about the application of international law. In July 2024, the International Court of Justice, the world's highest court, ruled on the illegality of Israel's military occupation and said that every state, including the UK, had an obligation not to aid and abet that military occupation. Now, the UK has taken action to ensure it's not aiding and abetting the military occupation of Ukraine, but refuses to take action against the military occupation of Palestine. But look, there's a further issue here. I'm not aware. The idea that, taking action to stop the racist fans of a football club with a long history of racist violence attending a game is an example of anti-Semitism is grotesque. First of all, I would argue that's actually an anti-Semitic remark.
Yes.
Because what it does, it equates all Jews with the actions both of the state of Israel, but also the actions of this notorious fan base.
Yes.
But secondly, let me say this. If, as I suspect is likely to happen, the Prime Minister puts political pressure on the relevant bodies for this decision to be reversed, and if, as is, I would say, completely predictable, Maccabi Tel Aviv fans come to Birmingham, march through the streets, chanting anti-Palestinian racist slogans, anti-Arab racist slogans, Islamophobic slogans, and maybe, as they have previously, commit racist acts of violence on local residents, Keir Starmer will own that. He will have green-lighted it, he will have facilitated it, he will have endorsed it. He's had not a word to say about that history of racist violence, not a word to say as to why the city of Amsterdam was so concerned. It's imposed a ban on this club participating in events in Amsterdam. What happens next is on Keir Starmer's plate.
Now, I entirely agree with him. It's such a brilliant quote. I'm so pleased that I found that, Benjamin. It's so important what he says. It is on Keir Starmer, but I take one step beyond what Benjamin was saying there, and I say this. They will march through the streets. They will conduct violence. They will chant Islamophobic, anti-Arab, anti-anything chants. And if there is any resistance, if there is any opposition, if, say, a Maccabi fan throws a bottle or a brick through a window of a house, say, for example, and that person comes out of that house and remonstrates with the person who's thrown the brick through their window, our media and our government and Kemi Badencock and the rest will characterize the person coming out of the house to remonstrate about their home being fucking, smashed up. They will hold them responsible and they will accuse them of anti-Semitism. That's why it's so important that channels like ours, countless other channels, question, challenge, and forever unpick the mainstream media. They are manufacturing consent within the population. And my worry is that actually when you begin to listen to the Owen Jones, go and check out the film, the interview with the author of Fraud, when you start to look at, I think Keir Starmer, his vacant, slightly panic-stricken eyeballs in everything he says at every podium, every time he talks to the press and to the world, I think behind there is an absolute knowledge of what he is allowing to happen. I think he is manipulative. I think he is strategic. I think he is strategic by omission. His hand is never on the decision, but he allows others to make the decisions for him. And so my fear with this is being favorable. I would say he's stupid. He's an infant. He's not seeing the nuance. He's not making the connections. He just doesn't get it. But worse than that, I worry and fear that he's going to allow them to come to provoke a response from anyone. And as soon as anyone responds to violent, aggressive fans, the argument will be over every single one of our fucking papers yet again. And Kemi Badencock and Farage and the rest of them, and Starmer and Shabana Mahmood, saying the anti-Semitism on our streets is awful. And then what will happen? There will be another egregious taking away of our rights to protest. It's astonishing. They're going to use the Maccabi fans as a Trojan horse. That's my fear. And I fucking hope to God that the reason that there hasn't been any development or evolution of the story yet is that West Midlands police are holding firm and saying no. And I hope that actually Tommy Robinson's post on X will add to the West Midlands police's argument to say, look, this is inflammatory already. So yes, I mean, on the one hand, he could own it. It'll be on him. But Starmer doesn't give a fuck about anyone. He really doesn't. He really, really doesn't. In other news, Palestine Action's legal challenge over group's terror ban has been allowed to go ahead. So this basically speaks to the fact that Court of Appeal has ruled that Palestine Action's co-founder can proceed with a High Court challenge against Number 10. So the government will not like this at all. So basically, this is the opportunity of a hearing in which they could reverse the decision, but they could also sanction the decision of prescribing Palestine Action as a terrorist organization. But that's a step in the right direction, potentially. Other news coming out of Gaza, it's a trickle. We need a flood. Northern Gaza is still not seeing enough aid despite ceasefire. Humanitarian agencies warn. Remember, the elimination, the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank is a good example. The West Bank, we all, well, many of us, not everyone, but many of us can see how the slow but gradual and consistent and not so slow encroachment of the Israeli state across the West Bank is leading to the West Bank becoming Greater Israel. Look, so they've destroyed Gaza, they've genocided Gaza, they've ethnically cleansed it massively. And so what could easily happen now without the more obvious kind of tools of bombs and fighter jets and all the rest of it, the encroachment and the continuation of the control and ethnic cleansing and genocide of Gaza is still happening. And this kind of headline is the kind of headline that only The Independent is running in our papers today. It's a trickle. We need a flood. Northern Gaza still not seeing enough aid. Part of the ceasefire agreement, Israel is still not honoring the amount of aid that needs to get in. So they're essentially still starving and holding their boot on the neck of the Palestinians of Gaza. It can happen without firing bullets. Other grisly stories coming out. Gaza authorities have received dead bodies of Palestinian hostages with stolen eyes, corneas, and other organs from Israel. This is something that's been known about and has been going on for years. The harvesting of body organs and body parts from Palestinians. It's so grisly, one almost thinks this is too ludicrous and too extreme a thought. But it's been ongoing for yonks. I don't necessarily think, well, I mean, if you hate the Palestinians that much, you would probably not want a part of their body in you, but maybe they're using them for medical research, for you know, experimentation in terms of medication. And you look at that, Gaza authorities. And this is a story, and this is a fact that has been going on for years. This has been going on for years. So yeah, just so shocking. What have we got here? Oh yeah. In other news, Donald Trump, we're just reaching the hour almost. Trump downplays hopes he will supply Ukraine with US missiles after meeting with Zelensky. This is, you know, 1 minute he was going to give them Tomahawks. The next minute he has a great phone call with his mate Putin. Hey, Vlad. Don't worry, I won't sell him the Tomahawk missiles. I promise you. I promise you. You're Zelensky. You don't hold the cards. You got no cards. And you've got no Tomahawks now. So that's all a bit weird. Trump claims Maduro, head of Venezuela, willing to give everything to ease US tensions. I don't know if you've been aware. We need to do a Trump's America because there's so much fucking news just literally locked within the... You poor Americans, it's a fucking clusterfuck over there, isn't it? Anyway, I think the Trump administration now have targeted 5 gang boats allegedly taking drugs from Venezuela to America. They've literally just blown them out of the water. And the White House publishes this footage really quite proudly. There's a lot of thought and suggestion that he's sending lots of troops to Puerto Rico. Some are suggesting, is he going to do a land invasion of Venezuela? Venezuela is very... natural resources and energy resources rich. So could we be about to see the United States literally invade Venezuela? Donald Trump had this to say about it.
It's reported that Maduro offered everything in his country, all the natural resources. He even recorded a message to you in English recently, offering mediation. What should we do in order to stop that?
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to fuck around with the United States. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, guys. Let's go. Start moving. Thank you, guys.
JD Vance funny. JD Vance is literally like the kid at school who's not brave, because bullying, you know, he's too much of a coward to be the actual bully, but he's always giggling and sniggering alongside the worst bully. And then you sort of think, well, what will happen when the big bully's gone? You know, this is just normal now. He's just blowing ships out of the water. Venezuela could invade Venezuela. Okay, Prince Andrew, I'm just going to show you, I'm going to play you this news story just because it kind of helps kind of get you through the story. This is Prince Andrew. Obviously, Prince Andrew, has he been fired? Was he pushed? Has he walked? He's no longer the Duke of York. He went to the top of the hill. He's come back down again. He hasn't got his title. This is all as it should be. Obviously tied up with the dubiousness, nastiness of his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Virginia Giuffre's books just been published. Lots of other kind of horrible kind of inferences and revelations coming out in that. I do wonder whether what's happened with Prince Andrew here is because yet more could be about to come out. But here's the story.
Tonight, the stunning decision now by Prince Andrew, giving up all of his royal titles, he says, after talking with King Charles. So what's behind the timing of this? Here's our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Kotursky now.
Tonight, with fresh scrutiny of his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, Prince Andrew is giving up all of his royal titles, including Duke of York. Andrew saying in a statement, in discussion with the king and his family, we have concluded the continued accusations about me distract from the work of His Majesty and the royal family. It comes days before the release of a memoir written by Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre before she died by suicide. She long claimed Epstein trafficked her to have sex with Andrew when she was 17.
So there you go. So Prince Andrew, I mean, I think this is good. No, I think this is a good thing. Just finding the story. Just one sec. Here we go. All of the papers leading with this image of him looking sort of, you know, like he's been caught doing something. Prince Andrew gives up royal titles, including Duke of York, after discussion with King. I'm giving up my royal titles. Royal will no longer be known as the Duke of York after agreeing that continued accusations have become a distraction. Prince Andrew's fall from grace complete as monarchy cuts him loose. As it should be, really. As it should be, I think. As it should be. Zayas wanted to compromise the crown. The Queen never visited Israel during her reign, says JYH. Yeah, I mean, let's not forget, you know, Prince Andrew basically chumming up to a guy who, in my opinion, but in lots of people's opinions, know that Jeffrey Epstein was a intelligence tool of the Israeli state. So there we go. In another news, I don't know what to make of this one. Caroline Levitt, when asked a question, this is Trump's press spokesperson, when asked a question by a reporter, Caroline Levitt apparently responded by just saying, your mum. I tried to find the clip, but I couldn't find it. We used to say that at school. People would be able to say abuse to you. You know, they'd abuse you or say something, go, no, your mum. It was like, it was good enough. Your mum. Just your mum. That was it. Anyway, guys, that's your news. Saturday Moaning. Thank you very much for all your comments. We are in 5 minutes going to be with the Curly Cook, singular. It's Dina's birthday today. We're going to be joining the Curly Cook of Croydon, and she's going to be making spicy bag, I think. Is it Dublin spicy bag? Chinesey, chickeny, chippy, chickeny. Whoa, sounds tasty. Anyway, guys, keep your comments coming in. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You get more extraordinarily honest, expletive kind of analysis of the news. And keep with the channel. Go and get yourself a cup of tea or a glass of wine even. I mean, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'd pour myself half a bottle of vodka by now normally. And join us and see you on the other side in 5 minutes. Thanks, guys.